I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the January 22nd Fisher City Council meeting. We have no announcements, no proclamations. We're going to go ahead and move to presentation, the City of Fisher's Employee Milestone Award. Chief?
So I'd like to thank you for allowing us to do this. And tonight's award is for Steve Pickett, Sergeant Steve Pickett, if you'll join me, Steve. Steve has been with the city for 25 years. He passed his anniversary this past January, and I was trying to think of some things to say to Steve. So I called Steve this morning on the way to work, and
He had somebody pulled over?
no, it wasn't behind me, but we'll get there in a minute.
He gave the residents a breather for a second, right?
Yeah, well, kind of. The plot thickens. I asked Steve, I said, "What are you doing, Steve?" And he goes, "Well, I'm about to make a lot of friends on 126th Street." And, you know, it dawns on you that there's people in our organization in this city that just come in and they just work their tails off every day. They don't have negative things to say. They don't get involved in a lot of the politicking or of the agency or the day-to-day. Steve is an example of someone that comes in, puts his head down, and just goes to work. And he does it day after day after day. And I told him that on the phone this morning. I said, "You just come in, you just go to work, car after car, day after day." And he handles a lot of other ancillary duties for us that, you know, he's helped write the e-ticket system for our city. He goes to a lot of the planning meetings for future roads of Fisher. So he's involved in a lot of different things that we ask him to do. But I asked him, I said, "What drives you? What motivates you?" And he goes, just love to work, love my job, like coming in. And then in a flash, he changed it to, "Hey, we have to do something about the speeds in Fishers." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Well," he goes, "we're way too fast right now. We got to slow them down. We got to get on the roads. It's January and people are speeding and we got to take care of that." That's an example of someone that comes in day after day after day after day, just does his job, doesn't look for accolades, doesn't look for rewards, and just does his job. And I appreciate it, and so should all of you, because he cares a bunch about the city. And a little bit about Steve, because I was so anxious to tell the story because it cracked me up. But Steve is here with Mary, his wife, and Holly and Kyle, his kids. Steve came to us in 1994, so 25 years later, in 2002, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant. He leads our traffic in our traffic unit now at the Fishers Police Department. So I just want to give a round of applause to Steve and his accomplishments. And Steve, I just really appreciate the work that you do day in and day out. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you
you.
very much. Yeah, on
Chief.
behalf of the city council, we just thank you so much for all that you've done. 25 years, a quarter of a century of dedication to our community and keeping Fisher safe, and we can rest at night knowing you're out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Steve, if I may add, you've had the pleasure of meeting all three of my children out on Oleo Road. But I appreciate what you're doing in our community because you keep it safe, and my three children are much better drivers because of you. So thank you.
And Mr. Pickett, the citizens of Del Webb, thank you very much. Most of them know you. And last year you came out to Del Webb with Coffee with the Cop. Chief, bring them back this year. They have fun with them, so thank you very much.
Yeah,
I'll
keep
take
up,
them. You can come out.
keep up the great
Yeah,
work.
thank you very much. Thank you. All right. I feel like every month we have these presentations. It's just pretty incredible, the amount of time of service in the community.
Yeah, it's the longevity in our police and fire department is really pretty
Yeah.
extraordinary.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, moving on to the Finance Committee report. Chairman Weingart?
Thank you very much. We had a very light agenda last week in our Finance Committee meeting. We have a few items on the agenda. There's a couple things off the agenda I will discuss with you. Item one, we have on the consent agenda request to approve a resolution authorizing city controller to transfer city funds which is more or less just transferring from certain accounts to others, some year-end cleanup. Second item is approving a resolution regarding a blanket security bond for public officials, and we recommend that for approval. Other items on the agenda last week, we talked about our consulting firm that helps us a lot on the financial side, H.J. Umbaugh and Associates, was merged into a larger firm, Baker Tilly. And we just brought up, asked, is that going to be a concern for us? And certainly assured us that our service will continue to be at a very high level. And doing a little research on Baker Tilly, they're a top 15 CPA firm with over 3,000 employees, 3,000 accountants, which is kind of scary being an accountant as well. But I think they will continue to service us well and provide a lot of great value add that that Umbaugh did not have. The other thing that we won through, and a lot of times we talk about, you can see roads being built and things going on in our community. Lisa was talking, our controller, about our new software, Tyler Munis, and kind of what they're going through on that. And I always say, when you do stuff like this from a financial perspective, it's like fixing an airplane while you're in flight. You still have to do the accounting, you still have to, but you're also transitioning this new software. She gave us a nice kind of real overview of what they're doing, and they're really starting to really use some of the robust features that are involved with this. So really excited for that, and really appreciate all the hard work her team has done to get us where we were to where we're heading. Has been nothing short of outstanding. So Lisa, outstanding job, and thank you to you and your team for your great work. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, John, appreciate it. All right, moving on, we need to.
I'm going to make a
Yeah,
motion
we
to
need
move one item off of the consent agenda. Item number A, election of officers.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
we need-
motion.
We need a second on
Second.
that. Second, motion by Pete, second by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right.
Then I guess
Passes.
we move to election of
Now
officers.
we move to election of officers. So I'm appreciative of the past year of service here as president of the council. Appreciate my fellow counselors. It's been an outstanding year. I've had a good time. I feel like it's the time right now for Rich. I'd like to make a motion for Rich Block to be president of the council.
Second.
Do we have a second? Second by Pete. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Come on over here.
Passing the gavel. Don't forget your phone.
I just wanted to say a few comments. I really appreciate Councilman Zimmerman's leadership this past year. He's done an excellent job as president of our city council, and I'm very thrilled to have Rich leading us here in 2019. But I really want to thank Todd for everything he's done this past year to serve our community and to lead our city council in 2018. Thank you, Todd, for all your work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cecilia. Well, I know one of the primary responsibilities is for me to keep the moving, and if I don't, Pete's going to jab me, so.
We will overthrow
We
your
all
leadership.
understand our role.
But I look forward to continue to work with council, the mayor, staff, and others. I mean, we've got so much positive momentum, and I really think that's what makes what we do fun, so I appreciate the opportunity. So moving along, item 6, the consent agenda.
Well, don't we need a vice
Oh,
president?
I'm sorry, yes.
So I think we should make a motion
So-
for a vice president.
Yes,
Right.
I
I'm thinking
apologize.
that maybe against all better judgment, I'm going to go ahead and nominate Eric Moeller for vice president of the city council. So, second.
Second, or go ahead, David.
So, second by David,
Motion by
nomination
Pete.
made by Pete. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? None?
No.
Okay,
Congratulations.
Good.
good. Thank you for keeping me in line. I knew Pete would do that. Moving to then item 6. Item 6, consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Pete, seconded by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Okay, motion passes. Item 7, Resolution 012219D.
Okay, just don't develop that.
Nice picture.
It was a nice stride. Sorry about that. For the record, Megan Baumgartner, Director of Economic Development. Tonight, I have a resolution to approve the statement of benefits for DMC Insurance. Last month, we approved the declaratory resolution for DMC Insurance's rehabilitation of 10500 Cross Point Boulevard. That is the former CMG Worldwide headquarters. So this month, it's the approval of their statement of benefits. On the Exhibit A, on the back side of it, we show that it is a 5-year, 100% tax abatement. They're required to make the investment in the first 2 years of the abatement. And from the front, you can see that it's a pretty significant investment that they plan to make in that building, and then also plans to hire 50 additional employees with some fantastic salaries. The final step for this approval will be the declaratory resolution, which will become, or I'm sorry, a confirmatory resolution, which will come next month. Happy to take any questions.
So this is not a public hearing, so are there any questions or comments from council?
I'll just make a motion to approve if there's no questions.
Motion made by Pete, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Todd. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Item 8, is this you again, Megan?
It is.
Resolution 012219E.
This resolution is approving the transfer of 2 parcels to the City of Fishers Redevelopment Commission. Back in June, City Council approved a economic development agreement with 8939 Techway LLC, I believe is the legal entity, for a redevelopment project of the building at the entrance of the Certified Tech Park of Northeast Commerce Park. The plans for that are a 30,000 square foot office building at least. We see that as a great entrance to the new park. They're getting a lot of interest right now. And as part of that agreement, the city has offered to transfer 2 parcels for them to be able to utilize for additional parking. So that is the step. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do you know how far along they are in the pre-leasing process? Because I think it was, 51% before they started construction?
That's what they need.
Yeah.
As of right now, I don't believe they have anybody signed officially yet, but they're doing quite a bit of legwork to get that leased up.
I'll make a motion to approve.
One comment I was going to make.
Before your comment.
Just a sec, we'll get to your motion. But I was pleased when I asked Chris Greisel that because of the pre-leasing requirement, that if, I guess the EDA contains language that if it doesn't get developed, it gets back or deeded back to the city. So that was reassuring, and the public should be appreciative of that as well. So Pete, I'm sorry.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Pete. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All right, motion made by Pete, second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Oh, Chris now. Okay, resolution 012219F.
Thank you, President Block, members of the council. For the record, Chris Greisel, attorney for the City of Fishers. I'm here before you tonight to present a resolution transferring land to our Town Hall Building Corporation. So, as you know, the city over the last year acquired approximately 60 acres of property along Geist Reservoir for purposes of our Geist Waterfront Park. And as you may be aware, included on that property, there's a large macro cell tower. And during our acquisition process, the city began negotiating with that cell tower company whose lease we had assumed by right of the acquisition to negotiate a purchase of the land. And so that cell tower company is actually going to purchase a portion of the land which it sits on today with an access easement for approximately $1 million. And tonight, I'm just asking you to transfer that portion of land over to the Town Hall Building Corporation so that they can complete the process to sell that land to the Town Hall Building Corporation pursuant to a property transfer agreement. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
How much was the lease for, Chris?
Approximately $10,000 a year. The American Tower Corporation had a long-term lease with IMI, who really had no interest in elevating that lease. It was subject to renegotiation, I think, within the next 10 years. And so, as opposed to doing that, we decided to sell the property outright.
And they're willing to give $1 million?
They
over
are.
$10,000 per year lease?
They are. I think for them, it's securing the site. number one, and then that cell tower has room to grow with respect to the facilities that they can put on that. So that cell tower corporation can then lease space to other corporations to come in and put their micro cell towers within that facility. And I think part of the cell tower game and the 5G game that's being played here is trying to have access to all points of our community. So American Tower Corporation saw this as a pivotal point of access for them to maintain long-term.
Yeah, I think the other contemplation here is replacement cost. So if we said, nope, we don't want a cell tower, we don't want it in our park, for them to acquire land, find a place you can put a tower that size, and then build a new tower, you know, so
You're
for
exactly
them, they're really kind of, we got a good opportunity here, let's put it that way.
I'm just that good of a negotiator, Brad.
I choose to think that way, too.
It's Chris the Hammer.
Any other?
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll just make a motion to approve and compliment our good negotiating person.
Thank you.
All right, motion by Pete. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good, motion passes. Moving to item 10, item 121718F.
Good evening. For the record, Ethan Lee, Director of Human Resources. I am presenting a request to approve the amendment to the salary ordinance correcting Scrivener's error, which is spelled with a V and not a B, that I'm glad I didn't learn the hard way. But nonetheless, this makes a correction to the 2019 approved ordinance, which makes slight adjustment to the maximum biweekly salary to a few of the fire positions, and also updating the safety manager job title, which was actually intended to be safety director. So very minor corrections due to a formulaic error in my spreadsheet on that salary ordinance.
I guess I want to note then for the record, I was looking at the old minutes that had the Sharp annexation. I think the new minutes.
The new agenda?
Yeah, the new agenda, I'm sorry, had that. So I referenced the wrong
Yeah.
item. I just want for the record, I guess that then is item 012219. Just to clarify, I apologize. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a motion to suspend the rules and approve on first reading.
Second.
All right, motion made by Pete, second by John. All in favor despite my error?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
We'll give you a free pass.
Now I'll
tonight.
make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Pete, second by Eric. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah, exactly.
Can't find that Scrivener.
Thanks, Ethan.
So the sharp printing is not on the agenda now?
That's correct. That item was pulled.
Yeah.
I know, well, I obviously printed it out without.
He's just president for one day. We gotta forgive him.
Yeah, thank you.
A little bit.
only been actually,
Just one day.
Jeez.
It's just been 10 minutes.
All right, moving right along. It won't be the first time, as you guys can appreciate. Item 12, any unfinished new business? No. Item 13, we'll open it up for community comments. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to make a comment. Seeing none, we'll close that.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I don't know if we even take a vote, but we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Get to use your gavel now, Rich.
Meeting adjourned. Oh, man. Yeah, really.
Good job, Rich.
Are we close to a record?